But here's what I want to address, and it's why I'm labeling this as embarrassing, because I want the people that are watching this video to understand why I and so many other Alabama fans out here are so mad and pissed off about this. It was ridiculous, and it goes back to the old statement. When you're winning, it solves all your problems and it covers up everything so it doesn't get highlighted. And if you think I'm being a little too harsh on the guy, well, guess what? I am, because I'm holding him to the standard. I'm disappointed, extremely humiliated, but most importantly, this is the most important part, I'm embarrassed. It's embarrassing for me. It's embarrassing for a player, a coach, the entire fan base of program. It's embarrassing for everybody involved. And whoa, hold on. I know all you sitting there saying, Matt, what in the crap are you talking about, dude? What's got you so worked up? Well, let me break this down for you. And I originally wasn't going to make this video, but so many people have been talking about it. And then I rewatched some clips and stuff, and I was like, yep, I gotta speak on it. As we all know, Alabama had more than a fantastic season this year, and in my humble opinion, they overachieved. For this team to get into the playoff, to make the playoff with all the question marks we had heading into the season, it was a great year. Don't get me wrong, it was still a disappointment of a season just due to the fact it's championship or bust at Alabama. That's the standard. It is what it is. That is the reality of the situation. But as far as it goes for this team itself, great year all in all. There's a lot of question marks for that defense because in the past couple of years, they were not very good, and they rose up to the challenge. Very proud of the defense this year. Very proud of how special teams went. We had a great punter, Will Reichard. He's the most legendary kicker in Alabama history probably. And as far as it goes for offense, I thought they did okay. The offense definitely had their ups and downs all throughout the year, which we'll get to in just a second. But Jalen Milroe, he took the bull by the horns, and he led us to the playoff all by himself pretty much. We didn't have some outstanding running back like Derrick Henry in 2015 to lead us to the championship. We didn't have a crazy wide receiver like Amari Cooper or Jerry Jeudy Henry. Nobody like that. It was pretty much all Jalen Milroe, okay? But with all that great stuff being said, there was one thing about this Alabama team that never got fixed, and it continued to disappoint me and frustrate me, and more importantly, embarrass me week in and week out. And some of you may know exactly what I'm about to say next, but it is no other than our center, Seth McLaughlin. And you know what I'm about to say next, so let's just get it out the way. Yeah, he was terrible against Michigan. And it's not like he just had one bad snaps. Yet again, per usual, he has about 5 to 6, and sometimes 7 snaps per game, where Jalen is having a hard time even trying to field them. And Seth McLaughlin should have got Jalen Milroe a freaking brand new car, golf cart or something for Christmas for how much he was saving his butt this year. It was ridiculous, and it goes back to the old statement. When you're winning, it solves all your problems and it covers up everything so it doesn't get highlighted. But if you were watching the channel all throughout this year, you know this. I was bringing it up every single game, and I said it's going to come back to bite us in the butt. And yeah, it did just that. Bit us in the butt big time, to say the least. But here's what I want to address, and it's why I'm labeling this as embarrassing, because I want the people that are watching this video to understand why I and so many other Alabama fans out here are so mad and pissed off about this. If Seth McLaughlin in this Michigan game would have had those 2 bad snaps, and that was all he had throughout this entire season, me, myself, and I, and nobody else would be making a big deal about this whatsoever. The problem with this, and I want people to understand it, is it was happening all year long. Every single game, he had 2 to 3 multiple bad snaps, if not more. As to how this man even kept a starting center job, I have no idea. And the more I thought about it, I started leaning towards the side of I'm more mad at the coaching staff for not making a change. You can't tell me Seth McLaughlin was the only guy we had that could play center and snap the ball. No way, I don't believe it. Because many years ago, we had a guy that went by the name of Barrett Jones. And what was the stat? Didn't he play 4 different positions on the offensive line in his 4 years at Bama? You mean to tell me we didn't have a guy that could snap a little bit better than Seth McLaughlin? Come on, man. Gosh, man, and it goes back to this. We continue to sweep it under the rug because we were winning games. And I want my people to understand this, because some people are going to say, well, Matt, don't you think you're overreacting? And no, I'm not. Snapping the ball into the dirt, snapping it too high, snapping it when the quarterback's not even looking and he's not ready, that is not a mistake. You know what a mistake is? Throwing an interception, having a fumble. And I can live with those because that's a part of the game that's going to happen. But what I can't live with is crap like that, not being able to snap the ball. And I'm not going to label it as a mistake because it's not. And I hate to be this way, but it's different. We have a standard at Alabama. If you can't snap the football, you just don't belong. And if you think I'm being a little too harsh on the guy, well, guess what? I am, because I'm holding him to the standard. That's the difference at Alabama. We don't pander to you and go, oh, it's okay, but you know how your grandparents do or your mom and dad does after you lose a game. Oh, it's okay, baby, you tried hard. No, it's not okay. It's not okay to F up that many times throughout the season. No way. And guess what? I just saw this on Twitter as well because I had a couple people send it to me. The first touchdown of the season was the similar thing that happened in the Michigan game in the Iron Bowl. Because y'all remember the terrible snap that lost us 15 yards in the Auburn-Michigan game, right? Well, he did this same thing against Middle Tennessee State. And what did Milroe do? He scooped the ball up and ran it in for a touchdown. If you're an Alabama fan, you probably remember that play. And I just can't believe that happened so many times this year. And if you think I'm being too harsh on him, former Alabama player, and I love this guy when he was there, Terrell Lewis, here's what he had to say about it. Somebody tweeted at him saying that Bama fans and Bama people are piling on Seth McLaughlin, and here's what he quote tweeted. When you commit to Bama, the pressure comes with it. The standard has always been the standard. Every year I was there, it was championship or bust. Simple. And I agree. That's the mentality we have and we got to have moving forward. This whole narrative of, oh, Alabama fans are critiquing them too much. No, we're holding them to a standard. The standard is a standard. If you don't want to be held to it, go somewhere else. And here's the thing. Snapping the ball correctly isn't even just a standard Alabama. That's a standard everywhere. That's a standard in middle school peewee football. I don't know a center anywhere that could have this many bad snaps and still be starting at the high school level, let alone the collegiate level, and let alone a dominating team like Alabama. I'm not blaming the coaching staff because at the end of the day, they didn't snap the ball. But I am more mad at the coaching staff for not making a change than anything else. And look at this comment. Take it for what you want, but I thought it was interesting. If you go back and watch the final play, watch Seth as Milroe hits the ground and the play ends. Dude never even cared to check on Milroe, just walked off like he didn't really care and just stared. Speaks volumes, honestly. One of the worst centers Bama has fielded, in my opinion, and I agree. And I want y'all to take a look at this comment from my man B-Song. Shout out to B-Song, man. He's always commenting on the videos. I greatly appreciate you, my man. Here's what he had to say, and he is 10,000% right. So yet again, if you think I'm being a little too harsh and critical, here's you a different perspective from somebody else. There is no single reason a Power 5 SEC champion should have snapping problems in Week 14. That is utterly inexcusable, and the fact that Seth was a center after all these snapping problems the whole year is insane. Yep, sounds pretty much like what I've been harping on the past 8 minutes. And yet again, I'm going to go back to this. It's not the fact that he made a couple mistakes against Michigan. It's the fact that he's made these mistakes, all these mistakes since week 1, and he never fixed them. Let's use another Alabama play, for example, Jalen Milroe. Did I critique Jalen Milroe, and did everyone critique Jalen Milroe a ton after the Texas game for throwing those interceptions? Yes, but guess what? He fixed them. And by default, since he fixed them, he got to remain the starting quarterback. Well, McLaughlin here, he never fixed them. Gosh, man, pisses me off. And if you want to know how I really feel about it, this is what I said in the video last night where I was breaking down some of the film. So, yeah, you're in for a treat with this. I turned into a rage monster, and I just lost my cool. But Matt wrote a clip. And this is where I'm going to get extremely mad. It is 1st and 10. And what killed us the entire season came back to bite us in the butt. Our snapper, well, it's Seth something. I forgot his last name. I'm drawing a blank, but that's besides the point. The point is, he snapped the ball yet again when Jalen Milroe isn't looking. It was a carbon copy paste of the Iron Bowl before the heroic 4th and 31 play. He snaps it. We lose 13 yards. Killed everything. But hold on. After this play, after the terrible snap on 2nd and 23, we had another terrible snap. What are you doing, buddy? It is the it is the playoffs. My apologies. How have we made it this far and we can't even snap the ball? I don't get it. There's no excuse for it. Some people say, oh, well, it's just a mistake. Everybody makes mistakes. No, this isn't even excusable at the middle school level. How did we get this far with this terrible of a center and offensive lineman? How did we get away with it this much? That's my biggest question. It's pitiful, and I'll be honest with y'all. It is embarrassing. It's embarrassing when you can't snap the ball. And I'm sorry, guys, for screaming, but I guess it's just got to come out of me, man. Oh, my gosh. Look, dude. Ain't that hard. And he's lucky I'm not on the team, because I'd have got up in his face. And it's nothing bad. I just got up in his face saying, dude, what are you doing, buddy? You got to lock in. We're in the playoffs. This isn't the Birmingham Bowl. This isn't the Music City Bowl. We're in the playoffs. We're playing for a championship. Come on, man. What are you doing? Yeah, I ain't going to lie. That guy's kind of crazy and acting like a crybaby reacting to that game, but he's 100% right. This guy breaking down what the center did in this game and talking about what he did all throughout the season, He nailed it on the head. Getting back on track here on a serious note, that's the word I'm going to continue to use. Embarrassing. That's what it is. And the more I think about it, the more I get pissed off about it. Because how did we allow this? I refuse to believe that Alabama, with all the talent we possess and we have at our fingertips, we couldn't find another guy that could snap the ball. I know some people ain't going to like this, but it's what I firmly believe. Seth McLaughlin, he cost us this win. I'm not going to say cost us a national championship, because you don't know what would have happened against Washington, but he definitely cost us this one. And some people are going to say, well, Matt, what about the defense at the end of the game? And sure, you can put it on them, but remember, we was cooking on that first drive, open up the second half, and what happened to it? We was in the other team's, Michigan's territory, back-to-back bad snaps, and we get 0 points to show for it. If we just get a field goal in that situation, we win the game. And granted, I'm playing the if, ands, and buts game here, but I don't think it's crazy to say we at bare minimum would have got a field goal on that drive. He ruined the momentum. Plain and simple. I'm holding him to the standard. If you don't like it, you're probably a weenie and you're probably a loser. Let me know your thoughts down below about that.